friends, welcome back. Let us continue with the discussion pertaining to corporate social responsibility. In the previous session, we discussed about the pyramid of corporate social responsibility and its definition. Now, in this session, I am going to talk about the another aspect of corporate social responsibility in terms of a contemporary notion related to CSR, that is triple bottom line, TBL. This is a notion that exists in any organization which is guided by a concept that any organization's financial performance should be not committed for generating more revenue or capital, but it has certain notions which is something addition to focus on its impact on social and environment. That means the notion of triple bottom line or TBL is guided by the explanation that any organization's financial performance should not be restricted to generate more revenue or capital, rather the impact of that financial performance must be understood by its impact or influence on society and environment. So, how and to what extent that organization is measuring its impact on society environment in form of sustainability and in form of profits. For example, any organizations must understand that how its organization and its employees are having an impact on society and handling with issues such as adequate access to healthy food, inadequate transportation, air and water pollution and unsafe homes, and for example of societal issues such as voting rights, refugee crisis, workers' rights, economic justice, healthcare, hunger, education, gun violence and more. The idea about the triple bottom line is that organizations must not only focus on its bottom line performance in form of financial success or performances, but they should exceed or test the influence of their performances on society and environment while handling and dealing with different kind of environmental and social issues while making a sustainable impact on every human being. No matter what, if we talk about environmental issues such as inadequate access to healthy food, inadequate transportation, air, water pollution and unsafe homes, or societal issues such as voting rights, human rights, workers' rights, economic justice, healthcare, hunger, education, gun violence and more. Every individual is impacted by such kind of issues and factors. If organizations are ready to deal with it, then definitely the organizations are contributing in establishing and creating a sustainable society and environment. Thus, the triple bottom line is an accounting framework that includes social, environment and financial results as bottom line. This means that any organization should not only focus on the financial bottom line. If you just remember the pyramid, that is the base, that is financial performances, but it should also deal with other types of performances in form of society and environment. On the other hand, triple bottom line can also has some more adage in based on people, planet and profit, that is the 3 P's which are often used to summarize the driving force behind the triple bottom line. That is the driving force, that whenever an organization's financial performance is being measured, then that measurement should not be in terms of monetary performances. That performance should be measured based on its impact on society and environment based on 3 forces, that is people, planet and profit. So, this is the triple bottom line. It should not only be restricted to any financial or monetary performances, but profit, people and planet, because we organizations are more inclined to pay back to the society and environment rather than just focusing on the financial performances. Next comes forms of socially responsible behavior. Since we have already discussed different kind of responsibilities that any organization would perform in terms of CSR, the first is environmental responsibility. This refers to the belief that organizations should create and behave in an environmentally friendly way as possible. It is one of the most common form of corporate social responsibility, and some companies use the term environmental stewardship to refer to such initiatives. That means it talks about the belief in order to make the environment sustainable and safe. So, this includes certain responsibilities that any organization would perform, such as reducing pollution, greenhouse gas emission, the use of single use plastics, water consumption and general waste. How general waste can be recycled, how water can be saved in any organization. The other responsibilities are regulating energy consumption by increasing reliance on renewables, sustainable resources and recycled or partially recycled materials, and offsetting negative environmental impact, for example, by planting trees, funding research and donating to related causes. That means funding the researches where people come up with some innovative ideas and researches to save the environment as much as possible. So, these are the environmental responsibilities as a CSR responsibility of any organization to perform. The other is ethical responsibility. This responsibility is concerned with ensuring an organization is operating in a fair and ethical manner. So, organizations embrace ethical responsibility to practice ethical behavior through fair treatment of stakeholders including leadership, investors, employees, suppliers and customers. That means that the profit that organization is earning, that should be shared by every aspect of the body which is related to that organization, right from stakeholders to leadership to investors, employees, suppliers and customers. No matter what, the more the ethical is organization, the more it is able to generate more revenue and capital for themselves in order to expand the business. So, this is only possible when ethical responsibility has been embraced by any organization. Thus, organizations can embrace ethical responsibility in different ways, for example, slavery or child labor, or not to work with sweatshops. So, for example, child labor, it is a prevalent malpractice in organizations, especially in unorganized sectors. So, how these organizations can embrace ethical responsibilities where they tend to shun slavery or child labor. The other is philanthropic responsibility. This is about charitable notions, which refers to a business aimed to actively make the world and society a better place. So, this entails donation to a cause that an organization believes in. It can be education, it can be about creating any university setting buildings where children get free education, or children can be funded to avail higher education or research centers. For others, acts of philanthropy mean an annual donation to a local theatre, food pantry or public school. So, there are a number of organizations who tend to contribute in a very philanthropic fashion. For example, Azim Premji Educational Foundation, they contribute a lot to educational field. Now, these are certain examples where they engage in philanthropic or charitable actions in order to make the society more sustainable and happy. We can also take example of Ratan Tata again. We have shared several examples of Sir Ratan Tata, that how he has contributed in a very philanthropic manner in sports as well. So, that is how any organization can survive when they tend to embrace different kind of responsibilities, and they tend to create a sustainable environment, not only organization, but sustainable environment and society. This also includes donate to charities and non-profits that align with their guiding missions. Others donate to worthy causes that do not directly relate to their business, and others go far as to create their own charitable trust or organization to give back and have a positive impact on society. And the fourth is economic responsibility. It is a practice of organization backing all its financial decisions in its commitment to do good in the areas listed above. So, the point is, more the organization is performing financially high, the more it is capable of embracing different kind of responsibilities to make society a better place. So, the end goal is not only to maximize profits, but make sure the business operations positively impact the environment, people and society. So, all these responsibilities are very important in terms of any organization's performance, because as we started with the discussion, that any business who is just making money, nothing else, is a poor business, but more it is embracing responsibility, the business is more illustrious. Okay, some of the common CSR actions. How to understand what kind of responsibilities are being performed under any CSR action. For example, when we talk about environmental sustainability, it includes recycling, waste management, water management, renewable energy, reusable materials, reducing paper use. Human capital enhancement, this includes additional resources for capacity building of local employees, including technical and professional training, adult basic education and language classes. So, this is something that they are offering to their own workers in order to maintain their status quo. in the organization. So, they offer different kind of programs within the organizations to the workers, where they can upskill themselves based on some small training programs and educate themselves. Community development, this can include raising money for local charities, providing volunteers, sponsoring local events, employing local workers, supporting local economic growth, engaging in fair trade practices, etc. So, this includes that maybe any organization can involve in community development while focusing on the small scale industries. They contribute some money to those small scale industries, local industries, so that they grow and make more profit. Ethical marketing, where consumers are placing a higher value on their customers and respecting them as people who are ends in themselves. They do not try to manipulate or falsely advertise to potential consumers, and this is important for companies. They want to be viewed as ethical. So, not promoting the product based on providing wrong information through advertisement. So, they ultimately customer is the end source for any organization to earn profit. So, through ethical marketing, when you are giving the right information about the product to the customer will be attracted to that organization and to that product. So, the point is that if any product is falsely advertised or manipulated, then the organizations are failing to perform in a very ethical manner. But yes, ethical marketing also comes under common CSR actions. Alright, but since we are talking about CSR for long, then how it creates a positive or virtuous cycle. Organizations are financially performing well, they are indulging in different kind of responsibilities or embracing different kind of responsibilities, then how it creates a virtuous cycle, that every time organization and society and environment, they are giving back and ultimately goodness is in flow. So, we are coming to this nature of CSR, which is bidirectional in nature. So, although profit may not be the primary objective for engaging in socially responsible behavior, it is clear that there is a strong link between the two, that is CSR and the organization, and this connection appears to be bidirectional in nature. Organization is giving to the society and the environment, and society and environment is giving to the organization. There is a virtuous cycle which is bidirectional in nature. So, the idea is straightforward. The tendency for companies that are successful financially to invest in social causes, they can afford to do so. Why? Because they do good by doing well. When they are earning profit, they are contributing to society and environment. So, they do good because they are doing well, and for socially responsible companies to perform well financially, that is they do well by doing good. So, ultimately organizations, when they are contributing to society and environment, so they are contributing, that is why the organization is also doing good. So, this is about bidirectionality of this whole process of CSR, and this creates a relationship which is termed as a virtuous circle. We can just skip on to this diagram of this virtuous circle. We can see that being socially responsible helps companies make money. So, doing well by doing good, more business will come to them, and rich companies can afford to be more socially responsible. So, doing good by doing well. So, this is a cycle which is bidirectional and virtuous in nature. Therefore, it has been suggested that socially responsible companies perform well financially because they are supported by customers and investors. They have more resources. As a result, they become wealthier, making it easier for them to become even more philanthropic, and this is known as virtuous cycle. But yes, every organization, when established and make some profit, they definitely have this thought with themselves that how to give back to the society and the environment. With the gradual process of financial performances, they tend to engage in these kind of behaviors and create a virtuous cycle. These are some examples of highly responsible actions from companies around the world. For example, Alcoa, through their charitable foundation, they are helping the community by funding programs in violence and injury prevention, providing health care for those who cannot afford it, and improving opportunities for people with disabilities. So, it is about improving the quality of life or human life. This is how they contribute through philanthropy. The other is McDonald's case. So, extensive is this restaurant chain's commitment to social responsibility that it publishes a worldwide corporate social responsibility report, which in 2004 was 88 pages long, and among its many activities was the McDonald House. So, it is again dissemination of information about corporate social responsibility, which is about embracing responsibilities for the society and the environment. For example, I can take up any example of Hewlett Packard. They have built a worldwide network of employee volunteers to develop ways to help the community to sustain the environment, right. Then Procter and Gamble, they helped UNICEF fund tuberculosis vaccinations for 8 million children in developing countries. So, we can imagine the amount of fund they must have invested with UNICEF in order to provide the vaccine to each and every person at global level, right. Then we have Amazon case, that links on its website took visitors to the site of the International Federation of the Red Cross, where over $4 million in relief aid was donated in the first few days after the disaster. So, it is again an initiative of Amazon, that how these companies have solicited money for a noble cause, and which is only possible when they are financially successful. The other is the Coca-Cola or PepsiCo. Each of these soft drink giants provided generous amount of drinking water and soft drinks to people in devastated areas. So, it is about their financial performance that enabled them to engage in these CSR actions and contributing to the society. So, ultimately they are contributing to the human life, they are contributing to the well-being of not only employees, but of people at large. So, these are certain prominent examples of these organizations who engage in CSR actions. So, we are through with this unit based on justice, ethics and corporate social responsibility, and ending this session we can say that corporate responsibility is the highest level of ethical behavior, where people, organizations tend to think not only about their own profit, but they think about people, planet and profit, creating a sustaining work life and human life. So, we are through with this unit. We will continue with another unit in the next session. Thank you so much.